Hey kids, this story is about how God raised up a new leader for Israel named Moses. Moses would deliver the Israelites out of the severe slavery they were in and lead them to the land that God promised years before to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now the sons of Israel came to Egypt with Jacob. They came, each one with his household. There was Reuben, Simeon, Levi and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. All the people who came from Jacob were 70 altogether in number, but Joseph was already living in Egypt. Now Joseph died, and all his brothers, and all that generation died. But the sons of Israel were fruitful, and they increased greatly, and they multiplied, and they became exceedingly mighty, so that the land was filled with them. Now in Egypt a new king arose over the land, who did not know Joseph. He said to his people, "Behold, the people of the sons of Israel are more and mightier than we are. Come, and let us deal wisely with them, or else they will multiply, and in the event of war, they will also join themselves to those who hate us, and fight against us, and depart from the land." So they appointed taskmasters over them to afflict them with hard labor. And they built for Pharaoh storage cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied, and the more they spread out, so that they were in dread of the sons of Israel. Now the Egyptians compelled the sons of Israel to work rigorously, and they made their lives bitter with hard labor in mortar and in bricks, and at all kinds of labor in the field. Then the king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwives who delivered the Hebrew babies, one of whom was named Shiphrah, and the other was named Puah. And he said, "When you are helping the Hebrew women to give birth, and you see them upon the birth stool, if it is a son, then you shall put him to death. But if it is a daughter, then she shall live." But the midwives feared God, and they did not do as the king of Egypt had commanded them, but they let the boys live. So the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said to them, "Why have you done this thing and let the boys live?" The midwives said to Pharaoh, "Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are vigorous, and they give birth before the midwife can get to them." So God was good to the midwives because they feared him, and the people multiplied and became very mighty. Now because the midwives feared God, he established households for them. Then Pharaoh commanded all his people, saying, "Every son who is born you are to cast into the Nile River, and every daughter you are to keep alive." Now a man from the house of Levi went and married a daughter of Levi, and the woman conceived and bore a son. And when she saw that he was a beautiful child, she hid him for 3 months. But when she could no longer hide him, she got him a wicker basket and covered it over with tar and with pitch. Then she put the child into it and set it among the reeds by the bank of the Nile River. Now his sister stood at a distance to find out what would happen to him. Now it happened that the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe at the Nile with her maidens, walking alongside the river. And she saw the basket among the reeds, and she sent her maid, and she brought it to her. When she opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the boy was crying. And she had pity on him and said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." Then his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go up and call a nurse for you from among the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for you?" Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Yes, go ahead." So the girl went and called the child's mother. Then Pharaoh's daughter said to her, take this child away and nurse him for me, and I will give you your wages." So the woman took the child and nursed him. Now the child grew, and she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she named him Moses, and said, "Because I drew him out of the water, he shall be called Moses." Now it came about in those days, when Moses had grown up, that he went out to his brethren and looked on their hard labors. And he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his brethren. So he looked this way and that. And when he saw that there was no one around, he struck down the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. The next day Moses went out, and behold, 2 Hebrews were fighting with each other. And he said to the offender, "Why are you striking your companion?" But the man said to Moses, "Who made you a prince or a judge over us? Are you intending to kill me as you killed the Egyptian?" Then Moses was afraid, and he said, "Surely the matter has become known." When Pharaoh heard of this matter, he tried to kill Moses, but Moses fled from the presence of Pharaoh, and he went and settled in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came to draw water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. Then the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. When the 7 daughters came to Reuel, their father, he said, "Why have you come back so soon today?" So they said, "An Egyptian delivered us from the hand of the shepherds, and what is more, he even drew the water for us and watered our flocks." Then he said to his daughters, "Where is he then? Why is it that you have left the man behind? Invite him to have something to eat." So Moses was willing to come and dwell with the man, and he gave his daughter Zipporah to Moses. Then she gave birth to a son, and she named him Gershom, for he said, "I have been a sojourner in a foreign land." Now it came about in the course of those days that the king of Egypt died, and the sons of Israel sighed because of the bondage, and they cried out, and their cry for help because of their bondage rose up to God. So God heard their groanings, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. And God saw the sons of Israel and took notice of them. Well, kids, God is very carefully preparing Moses for a great task ahead. I'm sure that at this point in life, Moses is not able to see what God is doing, but that will soon change in our next story.